Hey, Coach, thanks for taking the time today. We'll kick it off with John and then Jeff.
Hey, good morning, Nick. Uh, I guess we'll start it off. Feel free to say if Jordan's going to play, but beyond that, I saw some of your messaging for the Cowboys game. You talked about doing some special stuff with this group. I'm curious if that was a constant or there was a demarcation line where you kind of said this particular group, why you pulled the trigger on that.
I'm sorry, John. Can ask me that again?
Your messaging for the Cowboys week, you talked about this team doing some special stuff. Um, Different word, but you get the point. And I'm curious if there was a demarcation line when you felt that way, or that's been a constant messaging
I got you.
From early on.
I got you. Yeah, that's been constant. That's been a constant messaging. The best, again, I always go back to the best teams win, not the best groups of individuals. So you're constantly trying to come together as a football team. And I think, again, there's a lot of good teams. There's a lot of good groups of individuals out there. But what you're trying to do things that you want to be special, it comes down to the team, and understanding that, none of us, we can't be great without the greatness of others. So I'm constantly building up the team, constantly thinking about the team. And that's just I think that goes back to our core value, number one, of connecting, which I've been saying team a lot more this year. And that's the most important part of any team is the team. So that's been a pretty constant message, John.
And Jordan?
We'll see. We got some time here. So we'll see here as the week progresses. And I know that we only have a couple more days, but this today and tomorrow. But we'll see. But he's working his butt off, and we've got great doctors. We got great trainers. We got great strength staff that's done a good job. And Jordan's done everything he could possibly do to put himself in a position to, potentially. Well, again, like I said, we'll see.
We'll go to Jeff and then Zach.
John stole my question.
So we'll go to Zach here.
Hey, good morning, Nick. You've told us a few times that there's no handbook for this job. If you think back to your first year, the situation with Zach Ertz was the first time you were exposed to kind of the business side with a player, if you will. How did you learn from that experience, and how did that help you as a head coach?
Bless you. Yeah, I think that first and foremost, Zach was an all-time Eagle, and was really honored to be around him. And he's still playing at a high level in this part of his career. So, that was that. Going through that, and him moving on. Us moving on in the organization, and him getting a fresh start. That was always a that's a tough one, because I did really come to really value Zach Ertz, the person, Zach Ertz, the player, and enjoyed the time that I had around him. And so even as you work through all these years, these 4 years, even every one of the moves that you make, or when somebody's not here anymore, they all have a little different of a flow. I think at the end of the day, it goes back to the relationship that you have, and you try to build with your team, and with your players on your team. And I value that relationship that I have with Zach, and and obviously he's a great player.
We'll go to Dave and then Bob.
Hey, Nick, I know when you always say that the best teams are the ones that are most connected. What are the signs you look for to figure out if that's the case? And has this team been exhibiting some of those?
Yeah, I think you can tell. There's a lot of things that you can tell in interactions of team meetings. You can tell things like that. Just the energy, the flow, all those different things. I think you can tell. I always think there's a lot to be said for how guys celebrate together. And I think that's a big deal. I mean, there's a lot of different things. You look at selflessness of players. How are guys, I think about Devontae Smith and how he blocks without the football, because, and when he's not getting the football, how he's, trying to change the game. without it. And you think about the hustle and guys selling out for each other. Like there is a lot. I don't think there's a handbook for that either. There's a lot of things I look for on that, how they're, as far as that goes. But those are some of the things, Dave, that you see. And then it's just that feel that when you're around the team, it's something that I can't really explain. It's just, hey, this is how it feels. And I feel like we're continuing to come together as a football team. We can continue to get better at this, just like we can continue to get better at our details and our physicality and everything. So, and it's the same thing with team.
We'll go to Bob and then Martin.
Hey, Nick, I know you're saying we'll see with Jordan, but you got a chance in week 11 of an NFL season maybe to have all of your regulars up and ready to go. How much do you cherish a week like that in a league like this?
Yeah, obviously you always have injuries in this league and in this game. It's just the nature of the game. And so you're trying to do everything you possibly can to limit those things, while still, practicing your butt off, because you only get better with the way you practice. And so, obviously, if we have Jordan and that's the case this week, then that's a great sign for week 11. It means we're doing a lot of the right things. Now, luck has something to do with that as well. We all have to know that. But we've been pretty healthy here the last couple years, in the last handful of years. And a lot of credit to our doctors, our strength staff, our trainers, the way the guys take care of their body. We do a lot as coaches to think about how we're going to do that, but also how we're going to get better at the same time. So it takes everybody to win a game. It takes everybody to have the type of health that we've had, and we just got to continue on that path while still getting better.
We'll go to Martin here.
Hey, Nick, I know you mentioned the other day, like how valuable it is to be able to rest your starters in 3 of the 4 games, like late in the fourth quarter. But I was also curious how valuable it is for like some of those young guys like Anias, Will Shipley, Jalix Hunt, Johnny Wilson, to get playing time in those 4 quarters, and how that could benefit you down the road.
Yeah, I think equally as important. That's a good question, Martin. Equally as important, the rest that the starters get, and then the backups getting the time. I think that's huge. You constantly try to do things at practice to put these guys in positions to excel and to have reps, so they get reps at doing our stuff. So if they are thrust into position to contribute, that they're ready for it. And so to be able to do that, and that's something that we do a lot on Fridays. It's something that we try to do throughout the week, Fridays and Saturdays. But when you're able to get the live reps, within the year, in game mode, that's obviously huge. So it's super important, and I think the guys have done a really nice job of doing the things they're doing when they get into the game. Will Shipley has had some really nice runs in there as well. When teams know we're running sometimes in those areas. So the offensive line has done a nice job blocking those, and Will's done a nice job of running those. And, then you get the linebackers, Orrin Burks and, and then Trot have been able to play a lot. So it's been really beneficial.
We'll end with Tim here.
And Nick, have you used that LSU Georgia championship game as a resource at all this week? And have you shown the players the clip of Carter holding Daniels up in midair?
No, I didn't show that. We use every resource that we possibly could have to watch guys. I think right now, the amount of game tape that Jaden Daniels has out there is, that is to go back and look at more stuff, as far as at Georgia versus LSU. Yeah, we may have peeked at it, but I think we've got a big resume of what he is with this team and how this team operates. So No, we'll let you guys show that clip. Obviously, it was a good clip, but we'll let you guys show that good clip. But a lot of respect for Jaden Daniels, a lot of respect for Jalen Carter. So it'll be cool to see them match up again on the field on Sunday or tomorrow.
Thanks for the time, Coach.